I woke up this morning and my eyes felt like 2 water bottles, like watering.
They're like, yeah.
And I looked in the mirror and I'm like, oh, God, okay.
I'm puffy today, too.
It's going to be one of those days. I see. So irritating. I'm like, I don't want to take anything because I don't want to be druggy.
Yeah. I may take one when I get home. I didn't want to this morning just because I wanted to have the little bit of energy I needed to muster up to come over.
I really appreciate that you come over.
No. It started out with Kevin decided, it just happened to be the morning that he had poo stuck on his butt.
Oh, excellent.
And was jumping up on the couch, and that's when I noticed, and I'm like, oh, God. I'm like, you know what? So then he's outside dragging his butt around, and nothing he was doing was, he's fluffy.
Yeah.
He's a fluffy little dog.
Yes,
so I was like.
He's cute.
He's super cute. Jerry was getting ready to get in the shower. I'm like, would you want to do Kevin first? Because he's dragging his poopy butt all over the place. And Jerry's like, ugh. He's like, Kevin, get in here. So poor Kevin. He got a bath at like 8:30. He was not happy.
I would not be happy with the bath.
But it was
at 8:30.
necessary. He could not continue to parade around the house.
Understood.
Yeah. And he's still a puppy, so he's not quite figured out when those situations happen.
Well, why would he? I mean,
most dogs will go out to the grass and like take care of business. But he's just like he was chasing his tail and his butt. Like, what do I do? What do I do?
Oh, God. Disgusting.
And I can't. I'm like, get down, get out. I'm like trying to banish him to the backyard. And he's looking at me like, what did I do?
You're just disgusting. That's all.
Yes, ew. But I'm like, I can't let him suffer all day. So I'm like, let's just get this over with now.
What a wonderful way to start the day.
Yeah. So I was sitting on the couch just like having none of it. I'm like, you know what?
You're like, today is your day, bro. Let me see. What's this?
What's that supposed to go to?
I don't know, but I thought it should be a cool intro.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is, but it's cute.
I like something without a license.
I don't know, but I like it.
How do you know when you can use something that you... Is there like a library of things that you can use that you don't have to worry about someone saying I own that?
I do believe you can Google license-free music.
Yeah.
And that's how you find stuff. I've been harassing my son for years to do an intro for me.
You should.
He's like, oh, okay. And then...
That's a great idea. He just doesn't get around to it.
No. Does anybody ever?
No.
That's why things fail half the time in this
all
world.
Busy. Yeah, no, I get it.
So anyway, welcome to the Ugly Truth. This is episode...
I was waiting for it.
Sorry. This is episode 560.
Oof.
Happy birthday to you. To you.
Yeah, right.
I know you're excited about it.
You know what? Friends don't believe me when I say I hate it.
You know,
I judge them when they say, "Oh, it's my birthday month." I'm like, "You're dumb."
I thought that perhaps I was. I think I just thought I lacked joy because I'm not a big fan of. There's so much going on this weekend. This is for all of us. This is the Super Bowl weekend.
Oh, right. This
is Valentine's Day weekend for many people. Your birthday, although I know it's not a thing.
It's, yeah.
I am surrounded by family, not you.
No, I know what you mean.
My other family.
Your immediate family.
The immediate family whom with I live.
Your spawn and partner. And
well, they, for some reason, I don't know how I raised them, but they're all hippies. And they all love holidays.
I guess you must be at heart.
I must have raised them in a way.
You're a closet hippie.
Yeah, I think I'm a closet hippie.
I mean, you kind of always have been because you're very artistic. So it kind of matches in that way.
Well, that and I'm just really like, you know what? Do whatever the fuck you want to do.
Yeah,
and enjoy yourself. And I'm like, and save the goddamn bees. You know, let's just, I'm
like that too, but I'm not you know what? There is no box to put me in, really.
You are the second child who has nothing to do with the bullshit.
I guess.
You are...
My daughter's so much like that,
You are the consummate middle child. And I wouldn't have it any other way, to be honest with you. And it's the reason why you and my daughter, Mackenzie, are
true.
Your spirit animals.
We are.
Because she too is the second. Yeah. And it's almost the same because... Well, Tyler and Mackenzie they are like 4 or 5 years apart. 4, I think. And when she came in, you know, she was just the baby.
To this world.
She was the baby.
Yeah.
She was the baby of the family. The whole middle child thing, you were the baby for about a minute before mom had Allison.
Yeah, I don't remember. Yeah, right.
You guys are literally like 18 months apart.
We are 18 months apart.
So, I mean, there was
and 9 months of that is incubation.
Yes, and there was no time. So you have always been the middle child.
Do you remember when I was born?
No.
You were only 2.
The first memory I have is so dire.
Well, I want to hear it now.
Okay, so the first memory I have is Allison just came home from the hospital, and she was in some kind of cradle, I think.
Okay.
And you were already
evil.
Wild.
I was already trying to poison
her. You were
her
already wild. And no, you just were being really mean to me for some reason. And, we were practically toddlers.
We were toddlers.
We were so little.
I mean, I was 18 months old. Think about it. I wasn't even 2.
No, and I was barely 4.
Yeah,
and
you were.
So I was probably almost 4. Anyway, you had done something and you made me really angry. And I really think it was that you were pushing the cradle that our sister was in to the point where she might have fallen out. And she was literally a newborn.
Right. Where was Mother?
They were in the kitchen because they had just come home. Literally, I remember
it was
all
the
of
same
this.
day.
Yeah.
They were, okay.
And I took you and I threw you across the room.
That works.
And I got in massive trouble.
Well,
because no one was going to hear of it because there's no way you would have ever done that to the newborn.
Oh, bullshit. I'm sure Mom realized that later.
Well, far later.
It was one of those guilty moments where she's like, I shouldn't have beat Jamie's ass that day. She probably did save Allison's life.
Maybe. Anyway, that was the beginning of our relationship, you and I. Because I'm like, oh, I see how it is.
But I bet if you were to ask Mom, well, who knows? She doesn't remember anything either.
No, she doesn't.
I wonder if you were fond of me at all, when I was born. I know you were little.
We actually got along quite a bit. There was really only a small window of time that you and I did not like each other legitimately, and it was environmentally
when we were little, or when we were older?
No, it was teenager, puberty time, and that's where
God, I was hideous.
That's where Uglee came from.
Yeah.
Which is hilarious to me now because it's literally the name of the show because of you. And so
us.
Well, you called me ugly first, and
you used to like to call me a whore, and that really used to piss me off.
It's the only thing I had.
Well, it's a great word
because you already used ugly. I'm like, well, what am I supposed to say? So
Mom would get madder at you than she did me.
You know what? I got in more trouble than any.
She hated that word.
She hates a lot of words.
She does,
but she does hate.
But she does hate that word. And so when you would say it, she'd be like,
"Hey, that's only reserved for your stepmother."
Did you say that
once?
Brilliant.
I know. If we only listened, but we had no choice. We had to deal with her. But anyway, so it was a very short window of time, and then 19 and 20, we were like the best of friends.
Yeah,
it was literally 4 or 5 years we did not get along.
That's when our survivalship continued.
Yes.
So it was only a few years where I was being so crazy that no one could deal with me. And then
but that wasn't even that long.
No, it was 16, 17, and then 18.
By 19, you were starting to get your stuff together by 19.
Yeah, well, Mom did me a favor, when I was younger. But
she did. She,
getting me some help.
She did save your soul at that time, and it worked.
It did.
But anyway, I was trying to think of some stories because I know through the grapevine, through Allison and Paula, some of the shenanigans. And last night I was laying there thinking about some of the shit we used to do because we were latchkey kids. And I was trying to think of some of the stuff.
I think we were pretty good kids.
We were very good. But we didn't leave the house or anything.
No. We were mean to each other. Yes. And we had our own little shenanigans within the home.
Yes, but we didn't go out and do stuff.
No. Looking back, and if I were our parents, I would have been pretty damn proud.
I would have been relieved that,
proud. My girls are good. They do their homework. They're very self-disciplined. They cook. They keep the house clean. They're children.
Well, we were also very afraid.
Well, that's what I mean. I know. But there's been other people who've been raised like that, and they're just like, F you.
That's true.
They do whatever the hell they want.
However, I did not personally witness this. I was only told of this by Allison and Paula that you tried to smoke cinnamon sticks.
Oh, I did that, but I was alone.
But you told someone. Tell me
why. Okay, so Mom went to a wedding in Tahoe. Mm-hmm. You were 16, so you actually had a life.
So this was you were
I was 13. I was 12 or 13.
What in the world possessed you to smoke?
I had a friend over who was actually a very naughty little influence, but would allow me to always take the fall and be the ones with the big ideas. So maybe she had an ounce more sense in her head than I did. But anyway, so Mom went to a wedding in Tahoe. So I had basically a day, for the most part, home alone. And the other 2 girls, I think, were with Dad. why she left me home alone with a friend at 13, I don't know.
Maybe she didn't want you to go to the wedding.
Well, yeah, no, I wasn't going to the wedding. No one was going to the wedding. She went with a date. So,
okay.
And mom didn't date really.
Right.
So, so this must have been a big deal, whatever the case may be. So while she was gone, we drank an entire bottle of Irish whiskey.
I remember that.
And during that time, we decided to smoke. We wanted to smoke something.
So you smoked out a cinnamon
stick? So we smoked cinnamon sticks and cloves that we wrapped in
toilet
paper towels.
I did that with basil once. With dried basil, I tried to create a doobie with
that's what we did exactly.
napkin and
basil.
Cinnamon
sticks, they fit their cylinder and
they look like Swisher Sweets.
Yeah, so I think we stuffed them with whatever other herbs we had in the house.
Why do children do this? I have no idea. I remember when you did that because when I got home, mom wasn't even mad at you.
She almost took me to the emergency room.
You were so sick. I remember looking at you, and I don't remember much of that day, but I do remember looking at you when mom was taking care of you. Yeah. And you were so puffy.
I was very
ill. You probably should have gone to the hospital.
She said, the person she was with was a
alcoholic.
Well, and he was a law enforcement officer. Yes. So I think it was kind of like he was like, you know what, I think you're probably going to be fine.
Yeah, I remember
if this or this happens, then you should take her. But yes. I think she's probably going to just need to be really, really hungover.
Oh, man.
And I'm grateful because I'm sure there was things running through mom's head like, if I take her, they're going to call CPS.
Oh, God.
It would have been a hot mess. I don't blame her. And
it would not have been
ended
simple.
Up being fine.
You were fine.
But I was very alcohol poisoned for
That was the year that she threw a sugar bowl at us because we were fighting.
It was a rough year.
It was an unusual
I don't know what was going on with her that year, but I think it was a rough year for her.
It was a lot. I'm
sure dad had something to do with it. Who knows?
God only knows. But I was thinking about that. And then I was thinking about the time that you stole dad's truck.
Oh, yeah, that was fun. I still don't regret that.
You shouldn't regret it.
Well,
Dad was impressed.
Well, I didn't even know he knew.
He knew immediately.
He told me years later that he knew.
You did that.
The funny thing is he never called me out on that. I found that so shocking.
I just remember him vividly saying, I was just so impressed with her brazen actions that I'm like,
the one thing he didn't know was that I had used chalk to mark where the tires were because he did say he couldn't figure out
how you got it back exactly.
And so he was like, did she take it? Didn't she take it? If not for the giant dent in the driver's side door that I embedded in the gas station pump thing
at 7-Eleven, and it was bright red.
Yes, because I was dragging it down the truck because I couldn't get it out.
I'm impressed.
I mean, I think he was probably
I was jealous.
I think he was impressed because he's the one that taught me how to drive a stick shift when I was like 10 or 11. God. I mean, I was really young. I mean, he taught all of us to drive. So
I don't know if he taught you the same way he taught me.
On a hill?
I was 14.
Yeah.
And he put me in that blue piece of shit.
Yep, the same one.
And he said,
same truck.
He drove and then he pulled over in front of Louis Pasteur Junior High.
Right.
And he said, all right, I'm walking. I go, what? He goes, yeah, I'll see you back at the shop.
Oh, is that how he did it?
And I said, what do you mean? He goes, you're going to learn how to drive a stick or you'll be stuck here forever.
Oh, God.
And I went,
brutal.
Oh, my God. I'm like, Dad. He's like, yep, see ya. And I'm like, what do I do? And it took me, I am not kidding, because there's a hill. There's a nice incline.
Knows, then it's all hills out there.
And so back then, the thing is that street, I believe, is Central Avenue. It is. And Central goes from one end of Orangevale all the way to the end and it hits Main.
Yes.
Which is the final street before you hit Folsom.
Right.
So he had me at the beginning of Central, essentially, and he said,
just take this all the whole way.
It's a straight shot, make a right, make a left, and you'll be at the shop, because our dad had an auto shop. And I said, okay. And so he said, bye. And someone picked him up. And
maybe,
he took off.
Or maybe he really just walked.
No,
because it's super close.
You know what? He may have walked, but by the time I got there, he had been at the shop already. It took me that long.
Yeah,
because I literally
he was sneaky like that. He could have been hiding in the bushes watching you. I mean, he was like that.
It took me an hour to get up that truck up that hill.
You probably sat there for a while wondering if he was going to come back first.
No, I never thought that. But I just remember going, I have no choice. I have to figure this out. Now, he had given me the basics on how to drive a stick, obviously, but he's just like, don't drop the tranny, and I'll see ya. And he left, and it took me an hour. I started crying. I was like, how am I going to do this? I'm by myself. I'm 14. And I'm like, what is this? And so when I got it up the hill, I floored it.
Because you were like, I'm not going to stall.
I'm not going to do this again. And I never downshifted. I kept it in third.
You were first?
I was in third the whole time. The whole time I was in third. And then when I actually had to slow down and make a right onto Main Avenue, I panicked.
Oh, God.
Because I'm like, oh, God. Because now I've got to downshift and I've got to do the brakes. And if you hit the brakes too hard on a stick shift, it'll go down. It'll die. And I remember I pulled it in and it was probably 2 hours.
He was probably like, well.
And he comes in and he's at the shop. He's like, oh, I was wondering what happened to you. And I'm like, I am your child. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
He knew you were going to be fine.
He was hysterical.
He didn't leave me, but he did make me. Yeah, I'm sorry. I don't know if I didn't know that.
He totally did. It's like throwing somebody in the pool and going, good luck. I hope you make it to shore.
He did do that to me. But he didn't leave me. Remember the ski boat we had?
I do.
The blue one, the sparkly one. I was so terrified of water. I was really, really afraid.
I didn't know that.
I was absolutely terrified. I know. It's really mean, actually. But
it is mean. But you know what? Our parents, and I'm not speaking just for you and me, I mean all Gen X parents.
They were hardcore like that.
They were hardcore. They didn't give any shits. They're like, this is how I was raised by my World War II dad.
It was rather traumatizing. So, yeah, he threw me in Folsom Lake, which is very deep.
And it's very dangerous to do that. Can you imagine?
It is, yeah. And I don't know how old I was. I just know I was really young. Mm-hmm. I mean, probably less than 10. And, yeah, that's how I learned how to swim.
That or it's sink or swim.
It was pretty much, yeah, you'd swim back to the boat or,
Yeah, that's
because
insane.
Even though he probably wouldn't have watched me drown, he made you think he would. He's like, I'm not coming to get you. So if you're going to figure out how to get back to this boat or not.
I just wonder what in the world goes through an adult's brain
back
from
then?
Those that were born in the 40s and 50s. Like, what were they thinking when they were raising these children? I mean,
I'm thinking they were mirroring their own childhood in some way.
They were thinking, I'm showing you even an ounce of attention, something that I never got.
Right.
Because I had to start working when I was 13 years old.
Oh,
and so you've got it good.
I was raising my siblings, cooking, cleaning. I mean, I imagine that's mom's life, even though she was on the younger
She was the baby.
Spectrum.
One of the babies.
Well, right.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, so happy
Funny
birthday.
times.
I know you love your birthday as much as I do.
Yeah, it doesn't make me angry or anything like that.
No, but it's just like, why are we celebrating?
I could honestly care less.
And I will tell you that I know people, women, I don't know any men who do this, but I know a lot of women who celebrate their birthday month. I don't understand.
We talked about this before we started recording, and I'm sorry.
I don't get it.
Go ahead and hate me, but I am judging you. You're dumb. 100%. Not only that, but it's such a juvenile thing to do, in my opinion. I'm like, grow up. What are we, 5?
Let me tell you something, Stephanie. I don't celebrate my own children for a month. They get a day.
Yeah.
I don't do the whole 30 days till your birthday.
Oh, God.
29. Like, what?
I'm so sorry, Lauren, if I have never shown you proper attention, but I do, I've seen that. Lauren had birthday parties growing up when she was a little girl, and she very much enjoyed them. And I liked watching her, that was always fun. But when she got older, then it was all about, I'm going to get her something really nice, something thoughtful.
Our kids did have birthday parties, not a ton because they either just didn't want them or just,
she didn't have one every year.
No.
I can remember them, the ones we had.
I know we threw everybody a Sweet 16 because we thought that would be super fun.
I don't think Lauren had one.
And then, well, every kid is different.
Lauren and I, at that point, we were struggling. Joel had left the state.
Yeah. But but in general terms, I never have been one of those people where I'm just like, all right.
I wonder if our kids hate us for that.
No.
Okay.
I ask them now and I'm like
they have other friends who are like, oh, my mom made a big deal on my birthday every single year. It was like this huge thing. And I'm like, I'm sorry that I didn't do that.
I did. On the morning of their birthday, Daryl and I would go and we'd buy like a balloon and we'd buy their favorite candy and all of that. And then we'd set it up in the morning so they'd see it with a card or whatever. But, nowadays most kids don't need anything. They don't lack for anything. I mean, I'm speaking very generally.
No, you're right. Jeff has to think of like 6 months in advance. He has to start thinking about what he wants for his birthday because it takes him that long.
What I think has happened is, first of all, it's a generational pandemic. Shut up.
Yeah.
My mouth is not.
That's all right. Not functioning.
Not quite. And people I think people kind of
regressed.
They devolve or they go to their primal instincts.
Yeah.
So your primal instinct is survival or violence or trying to help everyone. Well, like everybody has.
It's kind of anarchy-ish. And people have gotten really used to, the pandemic has provided a lot of freedom in the sense that, you know, they've tried to keep people out of the jail system. They've really tried to keep them out of the prison system. I'm not blaming, you know, all
No, it's not that.
No, it is partially that.
I've seen a lot of white ladies who have lost their shit.
A lot of Karens. Those are my favorite videos to watch ever.
I can't.
Oh my God, I watch them for hours.
You know
They're
why?
so funny to me.
Do you know why? Because when I watch the ones where some neighbor has lost their goddamn mind in the last 2 years and they approach some neighbor's house and they're screaming at them, I'm like, you realize that if this was my home, I would violently accost you.
Oh, heck yeah.
Like, this is
I'm
unacceptable
talking about like
behavior.
the Walmart Karens and the no mask Karens and, you know, just the variety of Karens that they look so ridiculous, but they have no idea. I just love those.
You know what
so
it is?
Funny.
They are so outraged of their inability to be entitled.
Oh my God. Yes.
And then they behave in ways that I don't even think they realize that they were capable.
They're like screaming 3-year-olds.
It's really weird. And so that's the thing. It's like you can basically see how something like The Walking Dead would occur, where there'd be little packs of people, because the insane ones, it's like, no, you want to keep the crazy ones because they'll do all your dirty work.
Right.
But you need a variety to create these mini communities to survive. And the one thing I think a lot of people realize is, like, you can't rely on the government, and you never should, by the way. I mean, you are on your fucking own.
I mean, these Karens get away with the shit they get away with. I'm like, I guess they're not really committing crimes.
No, they're being just ridiculously
They're just
behaved.
being, socially, you know. I mean, and it's funny to me to watch people who have never had a Karen attitude, because it's just, they've never had the right to be like that.
They still don't, but I know what
depending
you're saying.
on their ethnicity, like, they're like, I could never behave that way and get away with it.
Oh yeah.
And they're usually the ones that are filming and like making commentary, and I love it. They're like, look at the Karen, look at her, look at her,
it too.
Look at this lady, and she comes, I'm gonna straight KO her, and I'm like, do it.
I just don't get how they're getting away with not getting the bitch slapped. I really don't.
Some of them do.
Oh, I've seen the tased, and it's so.
A couple of them were like, because they were filming the Karen incident, the Karen turns on them when they realize they're being filmed.
Yes.
Yeah, and she's like, go ahead and do something, because I've been sitting here filming you for 20 minutes just hoping to get your attention.
I just get too angry, and
I usually walk out in those situations, or I get far away. Like,
because the last thing I want to do is be the
antagonize.
No, I don't antagonize, but it's like, come near me.
I'll make a comment. I'll be like, shut up.
Well, yes.
You know, like, if I stay around long enough and they start pissing me off, I'm like, you idiot.
I remember saying something just like when you said, bye, stupid.
Yeah.
Wonder where he gets it.
I know. I forgot. Yeah. Oh my God. That is what I thought. That is 100% what I thought.
You're
I'm like,
this is what I get.
This is me leaving for work 3 out of 5 days a week.
Bye, dummy.
But I'm saying it to my husband.
Gee, wonder why. Oh.
So my son, I want you to get a divorce. I never want to see you again.
You know, I have to tell you, that's exactly how you were as a child.
I used to tell Mom I hated her
all the time, and Mom would laugh at you.
She did laugh at me. I was kind of doing that myself.
Although I do remember at one point.
She told me she hated me back.
She did. For the first time, you're all, you do?
I started crying. You can't hate me. You're the parent.
That's what you said. You're like, you can't hate me. You're the mom. She's like, well, if you hate me, I hate you. And I'm like, God damn it.
I know, she was so believable too. I'm like, she really does hate me.
Oh, God, it just shows that you weren't really evil. You were just a middle child.
I think I was like 4 when that happened. I was really little.
You were like the Tasmanian devil. You really were.
But you know what's funny is Mom used to tell me,
life would be so boring without you, though. And that is no lie.
She used to say, she's like, you were the most like vile as far as like when I would get mad or whatever. Mm-hmm. She's like, but then it was so ironic because you were also like one of my most loving children.
You were.
She's like, you couldn't. You were like when you got in trouble for lying at school about your lunch money getting stolen.
That is one of the most epic lies I ever told.
Well, I mean, in our world, that was like the worst.
Well, yeah, because and Stephanie, the thing is, to this day, I hate liars more than anything in the world.
I wonder why.
And it's because, first of all,
well, you were lied to a lot.
I was, but not only that, but when I did commit a lie, which was so rare, but when I did do it, I felt like I was dying inside.
I know, right?
It's the worst feeling in the world. I'm like,
how did our parents instill that into us? Because my children have no problem lying.
I just don't know how people can do it. How do people lie like that all the time? Don't you feel sick?
It depends on what they're lying about, but yeah, I mean,
I was lying about something so stupid.
It was. We were a child.
I know, but the thing is that I was the only one suffering for it. It wasn't like.
I guess. Did you confess? Is that how you got in trouble?
I had to confess.
Or did you get caught?
No, I had no choice but to confess. And to this day, I don't know if mom knew I was lying or if she was really like, I can't believe you're being bullied.
The way that I remember it is that you repeatedly came home and said that you lost your lunch money. Or did you say that it got stolen?
In grade school at that time, if you wanted to buy a hot lunch, it was 50 cents.
Yes.
And you would get 2 quarters. And then they would give you
a chip,
a little red or yellow or orange chip, depending on the day.
Or was it because back then they really did discriminate. It was like if you were a free lunch kid or if you were like
if you were free lunch, you didn't get a chip. You had to give your name, and they would had a little card, and they would hole punch
like a lister. Oh, that's right.
They would hole punch a card because you were a free luncher.
Okay.
But if you paid with cash, you just had to give them money, or you could go early before school started and give them the money, and they get the chip, so you don't have to do the exchange.
Right.
Because kids would lose their money.
Right.
And so it'd be like, go in the morning.
These are little kids, by the way. And remember, you used to have to buy your milk separate.
For 10 cents.
For 10 cents.
Or 15 if you wanted chocolate.
We are showing our age so bad right now.
So what? And
I'm just saying. People are probably like, what?
I really... And I don't even know. I could have been getting my lunch money stolen. To this day, I'm not sure.
Was it in your backpack or something?
Yeah, I had it, and regularly
it was gone.
It was gone, and I thought, oh, I lost it again.
I wonder if one of those asshole teachers was stealing it.
No, I think it was a kid who was probably in need of money because, even in grade school, there was not a closed campus, and kids would go to the convenience store,
Circle K,
down the street and buy Now and Laters
candy
and sell them for 25 cents a piece. I did it once and immediately got caught. I got in trouble. I think Dad actually drove by and he saw me.
We always got caught like that.
The one time I decided,
believe you did. I remember that.
The one time I decided to go with all the cool kids, and I went, and it wasn't Circle K. It was something else, and I can't remember the name of it. It was a very
Quick Stop.
I don't know.
It was Quick Stop.
Okay, so go to the Quick Stop, and you could buy for 50 cents. You could buy a mega size Now and Laters. And
this was before we had like 30,000 varieties of candy.
There was like 3 types of flavors, and that was it. And everybody loved Now and Laters because they lasted forever.
And they're good.
And they're delicious.
I still love them.
And
so they stick to my teeth.
Yeah, exactly. I don't need them anymore. So anyway, they would always go, and then they'd come back, and they would sell individual pieces of Now and Later for 25 cents.
I think it was cheaper than that, Jamie.
10 cents?
Because bubble gum, remember we used to get Bubblicious bubble gum with the little twisty wraps at the end? Those were like 3 cents.
Yeah, okay. So whatever.
I think they were like a nickel.
They were making a shit ton of money from other kids at school.
Yeah.
And so they were marking it up so they would like triple their money.
Right.
So they would come back. So I'm like, yeah, I want to do that. So I'm like, I'm going to take 25 cents. I'm going to go buy myself Now and Laters, and I'm going to sell them, and I'll make my money back.
Yeah.
And we were like in 4th grade.
We were little.
And so I went
that's so crazy.
with the cool kids, bought my Now and Laters. And between the time I walked there and walked back, because it was literally a block away.
It was not even a block away. It was across the street and like down like 1 or 2 houses.
Our fucking dad was on a test drive.
And think about it. Dad's shop from our school was literally like 2 minutes. It was right there.
Our fucking father was on a test drive in a customer's car and saw my ass walking.
Oh, he probably was scheming like, how am I going to?
He was probably hysterical.
I'm sure he was.
Going,
like, oh, look at her.
Who does this young lady think she is with these people? And what's funny is that was during the time when Adam was kidnapped and killed by that pedophile. And so all
parents were like super paranoid.
Beyond paranoid.
Right.
And we had just gotten over the Golden State Killer, by the way, who was raping and killing people in the same area.
Right.
So it's like nobody was allowing this.
I can't believe I don't remember that.
So, you were a baby.
I don't remember the Golden State Killer being like relevant in my life.
Oh, I do.
I don't.
But I was the oldest.
You were older.
So I walked back, got in trouble at the school immediately because I got caught at the school by yard duty. And then had to give up the candy, of course. And then Dad of course, Dad, he's like, I saw you. And I'm like, what? And I wanted to die. I thought I was going to die. I thought I was going to die. I'm like, the amount of violence that's going to be weighed on me. And it was the same thing like with the truck. When you stole his truck, he was so impressed that I was brave enough to do something so dumb he's like, it's enough. I don't even.
Well, I mean, thank God that he recognized your fear.
Mom was hysterically angry.
Oh, yes. Well, that's because she was thinking,
you could have died.
You could have got hit by a car. You could have gotten kidnapped. Anything could have happened.
That's what she said.
And I never would have even known. They would have found your body in a ditch, and I would have been trying to figure out how you got there. She was at school.
We thought you'd be on a milk carton. Yeah. You'd be running away in the ditch.
Well, I'm glad you did these things because I never did, and I'm pretty sure that's why.
Yes,
because I'm like, no.
You're like, no,
JB did that.
If we're gonna do it, it has to be in the dark of night. We cannot do these things in broad daylight. Our parents find out. Everything.
I mean, it was weird because I remember thinking, like, how do they know?
We get caught for everything.
Do they find out?
And
I've told that to
maybe we were dumb.
No, maybe
we just weren't very good at being sneaky.
I mean, what are the chances that your dad is driving by your elementary school at the precise moment?
The 3 minutes that you decided to
let you go,
I mean, believe it.
That wouldn't happen to anyone else except for us.
I swear to God. It's the same reason why we have the curse of nature invading our lives. When we have wild animals come into our homes or when we go camping or whatever.
Jerry didn't believe me that I actually found a black widow alive living in a web in my master bedroom closet. I had to show him. He's like, you think everything's a black widow. It was probably just a regular jumping spider.
Horrifying.
I'm like, I know the difference.
Trust me.
I have studied those animals and those things on the internet. I know exactly what they look like. So I had to show him the dead carcass because he didn't believe me.
It had died?
I killed it.
Oh, you did?
Yes. It was in my room.
Stephanie, you're so brave.
I had to. And you know what was so funny is I was watching on a show, some nature show, and they were like, black widows have a tendency to live in the bottoms of closets. I'm like, do they?
They do not. And you went in and looked in there.
I went in and looked in my closet, and I couldn't believe there was one. After I watched the show, I'm like, there it is.
I would have freaked the fuck
out. And it recoiled
out.
Because it was like I was in a place that I don't normally go, and it's like, oh God, she discovered me.
Jesus Christ!
Well, I found a pile of dead mosquito eaters.
Oh, so it was feeding in there?
Oh, it had been feeding.
It's like a horror movie.
Oh God, it still gives me.
I guess thank you for killing the.
I'm so grateful I was watching that show.
And then you decided to get
now I've checked all of the closets. Yeah, but.
Do you know my biggest fear is getting bitten by a brown recluse spider?
I've never seen one.
I think they're around here, but they're not as prevalent.
They say we have them.
But they're not like super prevalent.
But
like
black widows are everywhere.
Oh yeah, we have tons of black widows and rattlesnakes. But anyway, my biggest fear is because sometimes I'll put my hands behind the top of my mattress in between my mattress and my headboard.
Right.
Because it feels good to kind of whatever.
I do too.
I stopped doing it because one time I saw a show where a woman had like 7 brown recluses living on the back of her headboard.
Oh, for Christ's sakes. Yeah.
And I'm like, where do you live and why?
I think they're way more prevalent in like the South.
They are. Southwest, desert,
because, my stepdaughter got bit by one when she was living in Tennessee.
Did her arm get rotten?
No, not the whole thing, but she did have that whole decay thing where she kept having to go to the doctor.
That's my biggest, scariest thing.
Yeah, it's like a flesh-eating spider.
Yes.
Awful.
And so
and it was in her clothes. Just like they describe, they tell you, they like to hide in clothes. That's how she got bit.
Do you know, Dad used to scare me. He's like, don't leave your shoes outside. And if you do, make sure you...
That's because it's true.
Yes, I know.
Because black
baby rattlesnakes and spiders.
Well, we found baby rattlesnakes.
Yes, we did.
When we were in the backyard playing.
And we also had one on our front porch.
I don't remember that. Oh, I do remember that.
And I couldn't go home. And I was a latchkey kid at like 8.
And that was Plantain 9. Circle, no?
Yeah.
Yeah. Mom and Dad were still married.
Yeah.
So, yeah, he was probably at work, and who knows what
Mom was gone, and so I'm like, I can't come home. I went to a neighbor's house, and I said, I can't go home. And they're like, why? I go, well, there's a giant rattlesnake on the porch. They're like, oh, can you go around it? I'm like, I cannot. I cannot.
We didn't have garage door openers back then where we could, go in another entrance.
No.
There was only one way in.
One way in, man. I'm like, I could climb the fence, I suppose.
Isn't it strange to think that we actually walked home from school? And it was 15 blocks. It wasn't close. It wasn't right down the street. No, it was a far walk. It was several streets and turns and everything.
I remember I drove it because Daryl wanted to see where I lived. And I said, yeah, I'll show you. Because it was, back then those were super fancy houses.
Yeah.
And so
they still are.
They're nice.
They're just old. That's all.
They're just older. So anyway, we drove it, and I'm like, I walked this whole way home, and we drove the whole road. I'm like, this is a significant walk for a child.
Well, we would ride our bikes when we got a little older.
All kids did it though. It wasn't like we were on our own. But anyway, so yeah, our childhood was wild. Wow, It wasn't wild like some kids. I know that there are people out there going, you have no idea. And I'm like, you're right. I don't. And you and I got really wild when we hit 20. Like, we got crazy.
I think that was when we discovered we actually were able to make our own decisions.
And not to mention, we had so much fun.
Well, no, we did.
I mean, you and I, the amount of concerts, the amount of bars,
it was a very
clubs,
freeing time.
It was a free time
because it was like, oh my God, we're not bound by these
weird
fake, fake ethics and conduct rules and
and you know what I've always admired is you recognized freedom far before I did.
No, I just tasted it first, and then once I did, I was like, "Are you kidding me?
You're like, what is this world?
This is so much fun! Like,
it was so much fun
without judgment, and I can actually like be myself."
You and I had so much fun at that time, and we still have fun. But I mean, God,
I just wish the only thing I regret about my early 20s is that. Because I had been so repressed my whole life and never allowed to do anything.
Yes.
That I made these poor choices in life so young, like getting married and having a baby, that when I was ready to like be free, I had all these obligations and responsibilities that I had to feel guilty about.
So then you felt bad.
And I should have, because I had made these choices to be married and to have a kid and a family and all of that. And yet I wanted so badly to be wild. Oh, God. Which is completely normal. By the way,
really crazy shit. Anyway, all right. So this is a very unusual weekend in that for most people, Valentine's Day weekend, because Valentine's Day is on a Monday, which means most people who are going to observe are spending it tomorrow. Weekend. Well, this whole weekend.
Or this weekend, you're right.
This is, again, generalizing, but most men are going to want to sit in front of the TV tomorrow watching the Super Bowl, even if their teams aren't playing. They want to
100%.
drink beer and eat horrible food.
This is our holiday in America.
This is a holiday. Yeah, it is one of the big holidays in America.
And they've been saying for years that Monday should be a holiday because...
They've also been saying for years that the Super Bowl should be on a Saturday, like normal people. It should be on a Saturday.
Well, I don't know why. Was it a traditional thing? Like Super Bowl Sunday?
I don't know, but it's dumb. It should be on Saturday so that everybody can recover and then just go to work like a normal person.
I agree. Because Monday is like the biggest holiday or the biggest Monday of the year.
They call in sick everyone.
Like 80% of working Americans.
Everyone's working from home, and so it's now everyone's working from home for the most part. So.
Not everyone.
I know. So anyway, I'm like, I cannot wait. I don't know too many people now that would be like this because I'm old, but I cannot wait for the social media, the TikToks, the Instagrams.
I love it.
The constant disappointment that will be had on Sunday going, well, wanted a Valentine's Day weekend. Here I am at a bar with my boyfriend.
Whatever.
And I'm like, I cannot wait. I just cannot wait. It's going to be great.
Over it.
And all those like, I was going to do it on Monday, but he's too hungover, so now we're not doing anything. And I'm like, be young.
Well, here's... dumb.
Totally. I hate manufactured holidays more than anything in the world.
And I hate women who embrace them so.
I
just do.
I think.
Stop it. Oh, your cheesy chocolate covered strawberries and your flowers from the gas station.
Oh, Stephanie,
nothing says romance than baby's breath wrapped in cellophane.
Nothing says romance like a cloth rose from the gas station reeking of whore's perfume.
Remember they used to sell like
with underwear at the bottom.
Underwear that were red and wrapped to look like a rose.
I told you I got one of those once.
I believe I do remember that. And I don't even know what we thought of it at the time because we were so young.
I was disgusted.
But I would shove that thing down your throat.
Thanks for all the effort. But I mean, I was young and I'm like, oh, thanks for the effort.
Right.
I'm like, this is what I
That's
get.
how you know, right? That's how when you look back on your life and you go, that was definitely the wrong
So here's the thing. So Daryl doesn't need an excuse, but he loves excuses for
he does.
Celebrating everything. And so to him...
Oh, everything? Or just you?
Well, like he doesn't even...
Because Daryl is obsessed with you.
He doesn't think of holidays as manufactured or like forced. Whereas I go, if I want you to give me flowers, or if you feel like, don't wait until Valentine's Day. Just do it when you go, you know what? It's been a long time since she's had flowers. I should send them to her. I am one of those girls. I love flowers.
I know you do.
I don't care if they're a waste of money. They're beautiful. And I think that my home should be full of them all the time.
And they bring you great joy.
And before I had any kind of man in my life, I was buying flowers for myself constantly because they're just beautiful. And I don't like plants. I kill them. So, whatever.
Which is weird because you have a nice garden. So I don't understand why you can't keep a plant around.
The garden barely makes it. I'm not going to lie. But I don't like plants. And so, when the holidays come up, I said, like, you know how much I hate And I hated it when we were just friends. I told him, I'm like, Valentine's Day is one of the worst holidays of the year.
Yeah.
Because it puts pressure on people for no goddamn reason.
Right?
In the middle of winter. Like, why? Why?
It's not symbolic of your love, all right?
It shouldn't be. And
I don't think it is.
The only thing that I've always liked about Valentine's Day is the little kid thing.
Love.
When they give that Valentine's a little candy to their
my
classmates.
son made me a Valentine that served as a Valentine and a birthday, because my birthday is within a day. So it was a Valentine / birthday gift that he made in art. And when he was angry, he tore it up in front of me on Friday.
Wonderful.
I'm so happy. So now I have the torn up Valentine on my bedside.
I would keep it.
I am keeping it. And he also, when he tore it up as he was leaving for school, he's like, and I'm not making you another one. He followed up with that.
So you got the child you deserve, apparently.
So I think he was thinking like, I'm going to go ahead and rip this up, but then I'll make her another one. And then he's like, no, I'm not making you another one.
I'm not going to do it.
I'm like, I didn't know you were having the thought about making me another one, but thank you for letting me know.
Thanks for the
you will not
promise.
Make me another one.
No. So when I started hating it was junior high. When they would sell carnations or lollipops.
Oh.
And you had to spend, 25 cents and you could have something delivered to your crush.
There were at least 3 street corners on my way here that had people with the baskets of pre-made Valentine stuff. And they sell them on the street corner.
Yeah.
Oh, and they were packed.
I believe it.
All kinds of husbands out there.
Yeah. So I just remember because when you wouldn't get a sucker or a carnation in school,
then you felt
like, oh, well, no one likes me. And so then very quickly we all realized like we have to buy them for our friends because a boy will never in a million years do the right thing.
It either says something about it because they don't want to send you one, and then they might think you like them, even though they probably do.
Right.
And
girls didn't send them to boys back then.
Oh no,
not then. And so, I mean, back in the old days, we just didn't do that. And so I remember getting one once in junior high, and it was anonymous from someone. And of course,
how cute. Don't you wish you knew who it was now?
It was Eugene Seymour.
Was that really his name?
Yes. And he was really, I looked him up on Facebook.
Why would someone when you know your last name is Seymour?
I don't know.
Why would you name your child Eugene?
I don't know.
Did you hate them?
So I think he sent, if I recall, he sent it to me because he was being bullied. And kind of in the lunchroom or something.
Did you stand up for him?
Stephanie can't help myself. Bullies it's the thing.
They are the worst.
It's like, it's everything. I hate it. And so I remember walking over there. I'm like, hey, you assholes, knock it off. I had already been in one fist fight. I didn't give a shit.
You were not scared. That's true.
No. And so they're like,
thank God.
And they were people I knew. Now I was not popular. I wasn't one of the popular girls in middle school, but I was not a loser. Like I had I had a little,
you were never
pocket
a loser.
Of friends. I had a little pocket of friends. I was good. And so I was furious.
You were on drill team, no?
No, I didn't make drill.
You didn't?
I didn't know how to count. I didn't know how to do an 8 count.
I didn't know that. I thought you were always.
Mrs. Wharton, who I'm friends with to this day, because she loved me so much. And she's like, Jamie, you are one of the most spiciest, sassiest young ladies.
You were so great in cheer, but
that was a year later. She's like, you have such an attitude, but you're so good. And I'm like, she's like, and I want to put you on the drill team, but you don't know how to do an 8 count. And I can't work with this.
It's like you have to know.
No one taught me. I literally went in there winging it. I didn't know what an 8 count was. And when they'd go 5, 6, 7, 8, I would just wait until it was my turn and do it. And they're like,
so you were like doing it by memory.
You have to do it on the 3, Jamie. And I'm like, what does that even mean? Stephanie, when I tell you I am math retarded, I am not kidding. And
so am I.
And I use that word retarded for a reason.
I know. I said it the other day and I was like, oh my God, I'm not allowed to say that. Was that with you? I think I said it last week. Oh,
maybe.
No, I think I said it at a work meeting. And then I immediately apologized.
You're like, I'm sorry.
Thankfully, I was with friends and we were like in the break room, but it slipped out and they started laughing. They're like, you're good. We used to say it too. And it's just one of those things you have to get used to.
First of all, I'm not saying it in a name-calling derogatory manner.
Neither was I. I was calling myself retarded, as a matter of fact.
If I took a test, they would be like, okay.
She's on the spectrum.
I don't know why you have no skills because you're very smart, but you are correct.
I don't believe that.
Stephanie.
Seriously.
People go, you're so smart. You could be a vet because I always wanted to be a vet or a doctor.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And they're like, and I have a couple friends who are veterinarians and like, you could 100% do this. You're way smart. And I said, no, I'm not. And they said, yeah, you are. And I said, I can't do math. And they said,
that's like, They said, to be able to do math.
Yeah, it's not. You really only have to get to like, what'd they say?
Calculus.
Yeah, they said you don't really have to get to like intro to calculus. And I said, you're hilarious.
Right?
I go, I don't even know what that is.
I wonder if it's our genetics, because remember Dad used to make fun of me and say, how can you be so smart, but you're always in the dumb math?
Because we've never.
And I wasn't in the dumb. I wasn't in remedial math.
I was.
Well, I might have been.
I was in dumb math.
I was in the regular math, like just average school.
I was in math. My math skills were so bad in high school that I was in a math class where they literally just taught me how to balance a checkbook.
Mom used to.
That was it. They're all, this is subtraction and this is addition, and that was it. I really, truly.
Multiplication and division.
No, I wasn't being taught that at all. I had to be taught how to subtract and add. I would do flashcards in 5th or 6th grade.
I do remember that.
And I would just guess. He's like, it was like
multiple choice.
He was like a student teacher, and I had to come in and miss my recess. And they're like, let's do flashcards. I'm like, okay. They're like, 9 times 3. I'm like, 5. He's like, you're not even trying. And I'm like, I don't know what this is.
A lot of it is, well, back then it was memory. They just wanted you to repeat the same thing over and over. It really was not knowing why 9 times 3 was 27.
The idea,
even now I'm like, what is it?
And the idea that I used to run a register at a restaurant.
That's crazy.
I was so grateful that it would do the math. And then,
change.
And then the smart customers would come in and give me like $25.01 to get like a $5.
Right. And you're like,
and I didn't know. And I was like, so I would put it in. And I'm like, oh, $5. Here you go. Shocking. I'm so surprised. I had no idea. No idea why. It's that bad. But anyway, I don't even know what my point was.
Well, nowadays, that's why they do the Common Core. I think that's what they call it, right?
I told the girls.
Because they actually teach you why 9 times 3 is what it is.
I told the girls, I said, I know you all hate it, but I would have actually learned.
Well, and
with
so
Common Core.
That's why with Jeff, because I'm so old and he's young and this is such a new concept to me, I couldn't get it. I couldn't teach him. I couldn't do his homework with him. It was ridiculous. To this day, I can't remember. Mom had to hire a tutor who ended up being my boyfriend for algebra because I would cry. I would be in tears. I'm like, I can't do it. I could not do it.
I just remember when I was a junior in high school and Mr. Toledo, Coach Toledo, rest in peace.
Is he dead?
He passed away a couple of years ago.
Oh, how sad. Why?
He was old.
That's it?
Yeah, he didn't die of anything weird. He just was old. Now, speaking of, do you have an awkward moment?
Oh, geez.
I mine's dumb, and so no. So we're going to do HUglee and awkward moments because
thank God.
It is Valentine's / Super Bowl. And although we're not anti-love, I'm just not,
No. I think we have a very, very unique way of expressing love.
So just a couple of thoughts. One, the Super Bowl, it will, by the time anybody listens to this, because no one's going to listen until after the Super Bowl, I hope the halftime show was as epic as I expect it to be.
Me too.
It's
got so many different, well, and the other thing is that the way it seems
Dre,
to me.
Snoop, Mary J. Blige, Kendrick Lamar, and then my hope is there's this new super rap group that they've done an album for. They're going to be at Bottle Rock. Daryl and I will see it. It's called Mount Westmore, and it's going to be Too Short, Snoop, E40 and Ice Cube. I'm really hoping they show up.
I thought E40 was dead. No,
he's not. No, that's Eazy-E.
Oh, Eazy-E, that's right.
But
no, what I was going to say is
super group, I'm begging that they show. Okay, I'm so hopeful.
Well, maybe they will. Maybe that's going to be like oh my God, no one.
I will absolutely lose my shit. So I saw this person, this guy who was a total asshole. He dumped his senior cat off at the shelter because he didn't want it anymore. And the son-in-law and his daughter, who are estranged from this person, found out about it. And they went to the shelter.
And adopted
it. And it took the cat and adopted the cat. And the cat knew who they were and immediately got up out of its cage and
was like, hello.
And now it's living its best life.
Oh, I'm so glad.
Yeah, no Galentine's Day for you, Stephanie?
What's a Galentine?
You don't know what Galentine's Day is?
No.
Well, Galentine's Day is for those single gals who want to celebrate Valentine's Day. So they're each other's Valentine. They have big parties. They go out to dinner.
But
they
why do
give
you
each
need
other
to do
gifts.
it on Valentine's Day?
You don't.
I would do this on a Tuesday. It's Taco Tuesday. Let's go.
Stephanie, you know what? I'm just stuttering over my words because I am not a fan of manufactured holidays. Anyway, okay, so I have some.
I'm glad I didn't know what that meant.
And now you do.
Now I do.
For the rest of your life, you'll know.
If I ever meet someone who says they're going to do it, I'm going to. See, I can't hide my facial expressions and stuff like that. I'd be like, what?
Oh God.
Idiot.
It's very difficult.
And you know what's sad is that most of our listeners, I imagine, are women.
Yeah.
Do you know how many of them are probably like, are you fucking bitches?
No,
right now?
they're not. They're just
I do Valentine's Day, and it's not like what you're describing.
First of all, if they're listening, they're aware. They are aware of what they're getting, and they know.
I hope so.
And the thing is that we have been very clear about our feelings on Valentine's Day. They know the hatred. They're like, oh, I can't wait to listen to these girls go on and on about how much they hate the day of love, because I do. I do. Daryl gets no blowjobs. There's no steak coming. There's nothing. Nothing.
I was telling my friend the other day.
I get him a card because he loves Valentine's Day. So I get him a card. I've acquiesced.
Very thoughtful of you.
I've acquiesced because it's the one thing. And last year,
what will you get?
Well, I got flowers. I already got them though.
Oh, okay.
He sends them early,
so that you don't have to say you got them on Valentine's Day.
Well, it's a technicality, but he just 1 year. It was last year. He said, "You know what? You're right. I know you hate Valentine's Day." And I said, I do. I do
not lie when I say this.
I feel like it's a forced thing. And I feel like you're just buying me these because you feel like you have to. And I hate that. He's like, right. So I got no flowers in the month of February. None.
The whole month.
None.
Was that okay?
No. No, it wasn't. And so I go, oh, no flowers? He goes, you said you hated Valentine's Day. I go, well, I do, but usually
But I don't hate February.
And you can't help yourself. And so you send me them like a week or two before Valentine's Day. And you're like, look, I can accept that because it's like, I just want to celebrate how much I love you.
Right.
It's Valentine's Day. It's ingrained in our country to do it.
It feels weird to not do it in his mind.
And so, and I said, well, I got you a card. He's like, well, now I'm the asshole. I go, yeah, you are.
Oh, Jimmy.
And so
that is so wrong.
So he goes, you know what? You're right. I've been buying you flowers for non-Valentine's Day for 20 years.
And
then 1 year I decided not to do it. And now I feel, and he said, and it felt hard. It felt bad. Like I should have done it. And I go,
was he angry or something or having any kind of resentment that he
was
didn't
trying
want to share?
to just maybe.
I mean, what if he's like, you know what? I'm not going to get that bitch something this year.
Probably. Who knows?
I mean, come on. He can't love you that much all the fucking time. Does he ever get angry?
Funny you should mention.
I mean, come on, dude. I'm like, does she ever piss you off?
The last 48 hours have been a joy.
Well, yeah, but who was mad at who? You were mad at him.
No, he got mad at me. And he's just like, I don't know why you're being so short with me. And I go, you're being aggressive. And he's like, and he stamped his foot. I go, you're stamping your foot? Really? I go, what are you doing? And he's just like, we have spoken a total of 5 words.
Well, that just shows you how angry he was. He had to do something to let it out. He stamped.
It has not been pleasant. And so in my mind, I'm like, I can't wait till you go to Minnesota.
But I bet you $1 million it's you were angry.
No.
And he was just tiptoeing around. Maybe he got a little annoyed
I will tell you this. He had a lingering cough when he got COVID. Okay. And he had to go to you're laughing because of the coughing, right?
Yes.
Yeah. And
well, if it's related to the argument, then it
wasn't. Well, it is kind of, because he went to the doctor because he's like, I can't with this cough anymore. And he goes, and I can't believe you haven't lost your temper with me because, the excessive coughing. And I said, because I know why you have it. It's not like you're just swallowing wrong. Like I know
because if you were doing that, it would be on.
I said, I know that it's because you had COVID and this thing, your bronchioles are all like spastic.
You're only allowed to swallow wrong like once or twice a month.
Yeah.
You can't do it daily.
No.
Otherwise you're in trouble.
So he was put on steroids.
Good.
And he had them for like 7 days.
Did he feel better?
Yeah. In fact, I think yesterday and the day before, there's been hardly any coughing.
Good.
So but the thing with steroids is it does make you a little sassy.
Yes, it does.
And it
amps you up, right?
It makes you a little sensitive in the sense that everything kind of irritates you quickly.
Well, I think everything's heightened. Everything's like,
and a lot of people get grumpy.
Well, that's why like bodybuilders and stuff use those things, right?
Yes. And so he doesn't think he's doing anything.
Right.
But he's being an asshole.
And
but
he
doesn't know because
and you're tolerating it because you're like, okay, he's on steroids.
Yes. And I've been tolerating it for days. And I'm like, you know what? It's fine. But now I'm like, I'm done with you.
Yeah.
And and I don't want to do this.
Right.
And he's just like, I don't know why you're being so short with me. And I'm like, I don't know how to explain this because you don't understand what you're doing. And I'm just responding to you. And this is what you're getting. And he's just
now
like,
my patience is done.
So I woke up this morning. I said, you know what? I'm not with the bullshit today. So I've not said much, and I'm just kind of living my best life. And he's walking around acting like, what do I do to get out of this hole that I've dug myself in? And
time and distance usually works.
I just need to and I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to shut up then. I'm just not going to say anything. And I'm not giving him the silent treatment. I'm talking to him and stuff, but I'm not going to engage until these steroids work out of his
anything
body.
that could potentially start to piss you off again.
I don't want to get into a fight when I know that in 3 days he'll be like, wow, who was I?
Yeah.
Because I know he doesn't see it.
But in my mind, okay, I get it. But in my mind, it wouldn't kill him to be like, maybe I don't see it and maybe I really am being a dick. So I'll just acknowledge that.
And he's doing it today.
Okay.
Yes.
That's all right.
With no words. He
Fine.
knows. He's like, well, maybe I was an asshole. I don't know.
Even if you don't realize you're being an asshole, it behooves one to say that, to give the other one the benefit of the doubt.
I just know when he told me, I've asked him multiple times. I'm like, so when are you going to Minnesota? He goes, well, it's in March. I'm like, March what?
God, Minnesota's like the most miserable place on the planet.
He was very unsure about going.
Why don't you go to Siberia?
He has to go though, because it's very important. And
I'm sure, because he hasn't traveled in forever. So if he's going there, it must be for a good reason. It is.
And he goes, I'm going to make it as quick of a trip as possible. I'm like, oh, you don't have to do that. That's fine.
Do they have a Four Seasons there?
Take your time. It's okay. No, if you have to stay a couple of days, I get it. I'll be fine. I'm like, don't you want to go and be away from me? Like, we've been together for 2.5 years.
Oh,
solid.
God.
Just fucking go.
That's what gets me about my husband. It's like, go. When I go to work, granted, it's work, right?
Yeah.
And work is never fun. And getting up at the butt crack of dawn is not fun either. But once I actually get to work and I get in my groove, I'm good.
Fine.
Yeah, it's like, okay, this is my other routine. This is the other thing I do.
You're moving, you're grooving.
That's right. He acts like I'm going on vacation for a year. He's like, well,
enjoy your fun.
Do you have any meetings today that'll be bringing you home early? I'm like, I just spent the last
3 days
can't
with
even
you.
Understand why you don't want me gone.
Because they love us. they want to be with us.
I was telling my bestie the other day, I'm like, he's a puppy. I have to kick him, get off me.
And in our minds, inside our bodies, and this is not women, this is us. In our bodies, we're like, we are the most unlovable bitches.
Seriously.
Why do you want to be near us? I do not understand.
One of Jerry's famous last words whenever we argue,
he's like, you're not though.
No, he's like, well, you just hate my guts, but I don't hate yours. And I don't understand why. I still love you and everything after 25 years. I'm like, did I say I didn't love you? He's like, well, I must act like I just hate you. I'm like, okay, that's fair.
I just don't see what he sees,
I guess.
And I think that's the biggest compliment that I can give him.
I suppose.
Because I don't get it.
I would hate me.
Stephanie, if he could get into my brain.
Maybe we're just really good at hiding
for even 2 minutes. For even 2 minutes, he'd be like, I don't know who you are. You're a psychopath. And I'd be like, I told you.
Honestly, I really feel so grateful that we've learned how to navigate this life without people having any idea about the things that go through. I think they have a small idea. The show is a pretty good indication. But
it is. That is true. I would say
I hide a lot of bad things.
I think it's just... people would be really surprised how much I hate people. And when people say, well, I really hate people. And when I say I hate people, I don't mean single people. Like, there are people that I would kill for and love. But herd mentality, I hate people.
Yeah.
I hate regular interactions. I don't like when people are... just, well, I guess this is what we're going to do. And I'm like, I hate you. Why? It's like, be an independent person. God forbid. You would think that I would be a Trumper. I'm not.
No.
I'm not.
But we don't really jump on any bandwagon.
None. And then I wonder if this is just our generation, because there are a lot of people that are my age they look at me and they're like, fuck this place, right? I'm like 100%.
I mean, yeah, but there's also a bunch of idiots on Facebook who make me sick who are the same age as me. And I'm like, really? Like, you know, I am somewhere in the middle.
I feel like it's fake. I don't think it's real.
No, I'm talking about the ones that, and I hate to use the term Trumpy because I don't even like to label them that way.
They're just very extreme.
Part of me is like, you know what? We all must grow and learn. And yes, we were raised in a different time period and it was acceptable to have certain thoughts and process things differently back then. But I would like to think that after all this time of elementary, high school, that I have evolved, that I have matured, that I have developed more, you know, ideas.
A bigger perspective.
And you all, or some of you, are still stuck in Orangevale 35 years ago. I'm like, that is not the life we live anymore. That's not the world we live in anymore. Stop it.
It would be nice. And, you know, everyone...
You look like an asshole.
Well, because they probably are.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I just think that Daryl must see, and Jerry, they must see things that we don't see. They have to see. They're like, you think you're such a badass, and I am. Right. But they're like, but you are, and I say this about you, Stephanie,
like a rattlesnake.
But you're so fucking generous, and you're very loving and very loyal.
I am very loyal.
Very loyal,
yeah.
And.
I can't help it. It's not like I purposefully am loyal.
No, it's just who you are. Yeah. And you're like, I'm like this, but you're far more like this. The idea of seeing anything, whether it's a human or a creature, suffer in any way whatsoever, it takes you to the floor. You are so gutted. You can't even.
Unless I have fantasized about your death for a long time.
That's different.
Is it?
Yes, because...
then I've actually had ideas about watching you suffer. Yeah, and there are people out there in the world that I have thought that about.
I have a short list.
Yeah.
Yeah, we all do. I think every human does. I think. Anyway. All right. So these are funny.
That's cute.
Kind of Valentine / love.
Okay.
We're going to end this on a really good note, though, even though we've been bitching about it for an hour.
I know.
A soccer club launched a fundraiser for See's Candy and sex toys. And... the company is Pure Romance, and that's a sex company. That's a sex toy company.
Okay.
That, you know, it's one of those MLMs where women have sex toy parties, and you go and you buy.
Okay, those are still okay.
You buy your massage oils and all the things.
I've been to enough of those in a lifetime.
They call it a health and wellness brand because they sell supplements and essential oils.
Okay,
but it's really for vibrators and shit like that.
Right.
So anyway, this youth soccer club thought it would be a fine idea to have a fundraiser for parents to buy See's Candy and sex toys for Valentine's Day.
Brilliant.
They needed to raise a lot of money, and one of the women on the board happens to be, shockingly, she's a representative for Pure Romance, and said,
how
hey,
weird.
I know what I'll do. I will put up my website, and you guys just buy everything, and all of the money that I would make, I'll just donate to the club as a fundraiser. This is ripe with...
I'm so unimpressed so far.
Yeah. And first of all...
Only because it's just the dumbest idea I've ever heard.
Well, somehow
Is this for an elementary school?
No, it's for a youth soccer club.
Oh, a youth... Oh, God.
Like a rec league.
Right.
And so, first of all, I'm like, how did this pass the board? Because I used to be on not soccer, but I was on an athletic rec league board.
Yeah.
This had to be discussed and voted and approved. And somehow they got it passed.
Is it all men except for her?
I don't think so, but it got approved. And so the Facebook page said, hey, everyone, and it's public because they want everybody to see it so that maybe strangers will buy candy and sex toys. And so somehow someone who works at Channel 3 saw it.
Oh, lovely.
And said, yo.
It's a small town, let's face it.
And so Channel 3 started asking about it.
Because this is such a ridiculous idea.
At the same time,
it's newsworthy.
A small cluster of parents went, I don't think this is an appropriate fundraiser for 4 to 7-year-olds.
Duh.
And so the person said, well, if they don't like it, then we'll just never do it again. And she kind of got a little attitude. She said...
She got indignant.
She didn't get indignant, but she said, if there's a backlash with this and people are really unhappy about it, then we won't do it again. But
we're not going to stop doing it.
Well, they pulled it. And they said that an adult toy vendor is ill-advised, and so essentially they pulled it. I don't know if they pulled the fundraiser, but they pulled all public activity,
advertisement.
So I looked up the lady, and she's incredibly progressive. So this is not some
weird
PTA mom. And so she, she's been doing this for like 12 years. This is not her. She's not new.
This is really her job.
It's like her side job.
Yeah.
And so, and then I started thinking about it. I'm like, okay, this was very ill-advised. And in a million years, this never would have passed. I don't even know how they even let this happen.
I get it, but I mean,
it's still not.
It was the age bracket that I have an issue with.
Everybody did,
right? Anything that involves children.
I just wonder if
how do you explain this to a 4-year-old who wants to know why what the fundraiser's about?
Right.
You can't leave them completely out of it. They're going to know about it.
Well, we're selling supplements for your dad.
I mean, Christ almighty.
Oh, God. Okay. So now I have some un-Valentine's stories.
All right.
These are HUglee and awkward moments of the week. Do I have a thing? No. Okay. Never mind.
That's crickets.
Yeah. Oops. Okay. Last Valentine's Day, my long-distance boyfriend and I got into a fight. I decided to try and say sorry by sending him a heart-shaped pizza from Pizza Hut. I got a phone call about 30 minutes after I ordered saying that he refused my pizza. So the Pizza Hut girl called to ask what I wanted to do with it. I started crying on the phone and I said, "Go ahead and eat my love pizza."
Poor thing.
I know. I hope it's her
He must have been really mad.
To refuse food? Hell yeah.
Especially
he's like, "No,
a pizza.
I will not take this."
He really wanted to send a message.
He's mad. Okay, so
which is very un-guy-like.
I know. He's like, you'd think he would take the pizza, but no.
Honest to God.
Okay, so the next one. I bought my office crush a rose, not knowing she had 2 weeks off work. It was left in my locker. It was left in my locker, but looked good enough to give to her when she returned.
No, it didn't.
The head fell off as I handed it to her. I can just see this, you stupid ass, this little Foot Locker guy. Here you go. Clonk. Well, anyway, I didn't know you were going to be off for 2 weeks.
God forbid, don't buy another one.
I was in rehab, Josh.
They're $1.99.
Lord. Once I ordered my girlfriend flowers and they didn't arrive, so I gave her the delivery confirmation instead. It was not as funny as I thought it would be. Just go to the grocery store.
No. Yeah. Right? And these days they have some pretty...
They're nice.
Yes, but you do have to take them out of the cellophane. Can't tell you how many countless times I've seen men
with the tag, the price tag.
They try to peel it off, and it's like half peeled off. I'm like, just take it. Oh,
just take it. There's like
the cellophane.
There's several layers. You can remove that part. It's fine,
and you can spend the extra $10 to buy the ones with the vase.
It's fine.
I mean, it's the thought that counts. I get it, but
whenever I see
men get away with so much shit because they're dumb.
They get away with it because our expectations are on the fucking floor.
That's true. That's why. And it's like, well, he made the effort of going to Safeway and buying them. So I remember really gonna complain.
I remember vividly the day that Daryl said, "I am done giving you grocery store flowers. We're done with this." And I'm like, all right, cool. Never again.
You're not going to hear me complain.
Never. Yeah. And I'm like, I appreciate that. Thank you. Yeah. Because it is true, because, women don't want to raise their expectations because men will go, well, I'll just find some whore that was happy to accept grocery store flowers for 30 years, and only, look, if you can only afford it, it's fine. Whatever.
Right.
But I'm just saying, generally speaking,
I'm saying don't just do it by default because it's easy and you're lazy.
The one-stop shop. Okay, so to end our Un-Valentine's Day episode, as we always do, I have 3 stories of how someone knew they met their person.
Okay.
And these are cute. I thought. This one says, my now wife and I worked for the same company. She got Employee of the Year and won a weekend trip to Big Bear, California. It was a big cabin with 3 rooms, and her family and I went for the weekend. We were playing billiards alone in the rec area during heavy rain, and I remember telling myself, if I screw this up, I'm a fool. And I proposed immediately.
That's it?
Yeah. That's when he knew that she was the one.
By playing pool?
Yeah, it was just, that's the moment. The moment happens and then you do it.
That's lovely.
It's fine.
I was just waiting for like the big.
That was it. What?
That's sweet. I mean,
it's sweet. I knew the moment well, these are people who knew they found their
while
person.
you're reading these, though, you have to think of like when you knew your moment.
I know. I will.
You already know?
Well, and I asked Daryl too.
Okay.
No, but these are the moments where they have that aha moment where they go, this is the person. So it's not going to be a grand, a moment.
Guys are usually like that.
Yeah.
Girls, on the other hand, kind of swoon, and I don't know.
I'll tell you mine. Okay.
Yeah.
I knew the moment I met him, She's like, I knew the moment I met him. I immediately thought, oh shit, he's mine.
Aww.
I avoided it for years, both of us being with other people, and we eventually reconnected, and we've been together for 7 years. I always knew it, but I refused to believe it, and now I couldn't be happier.
Yeah, she's still a rookie. 7 years.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, she avoided him for years, knowing he was the man.
Right?
Sucks. She wasted all that time. That's all I could think. I'm like, you wasted so much time being refusing to admit that you had commitment issues and that you actually loved him.
Or maybe she said they were both with other people.
Well, because she wouldn't, But yeah, exactly.
Sometimes that happens,
It does. We had just finished a double shift at the restaurant where we were both cooks. We were walking home to our small apartment and it was raining. And what's with the rain? And he was talking about some far in the future plan and he referenced us as he spoke about it. I snarkily said, oh, you see me there in this far off plan? And he turned to me without hesitation and said with a complete confidence and a smile, oh yeah, this is it. You're it.
Aww.
And I was like, I would have started crying.
I would have too if I was feeling it. Yeah, but I mean, I've never had somebody say with such conviction that I was part of their future when I wasn't at the time.
I absolutely love that. That was my favorite. I'm like, if somebody... Well, anyway, it was a beautiful moment and to me. And I'm like, gosh, that's how great to be chosen. Like, no, you are it. You are the person.
I mean, I would find it kind of shocking if it wasn't like a thought I was already having or you weren't already like having romantic feelings for each other and someone just declared that like, hey, you're the one.
There's nothing more vulnerable than telling somebody you love them.
I know.
It's so scary.
Right.
In fact, Daryl and I said, who said I love you first? Because it wasn't me.
For sure it wasn't me.
I think he said it was me, and I'm like, I don't believe you. There's no way I would have done that. There's no way I would have said I love you first.
I'm pretty sure I did not.
I'm pretty sure it was him. But, whatever. Anyway, all right. Well, on that note. Oh, I did the crickets.
You can't do both.
It was an accident. No. What's this? Oh, no. On that note. It's time to say goodbye, Ugg. So hopefully everybody had a great weekend. If you are observing the holidays, by all means, enjoy, get laid, have your chocolate, enjoy your flowers, enjoy your meals.
Yeah, and you know what I was thinking when you're young like that, when you're in a new relationship, Valentine's Day can be exciting.
It's exciting for everyone who
chocolate
wants...
sauce and whipped cream and all these things you've never done before and you're with your person.
Live it up. And if you do Valentine's Day, enjoy your rosés.
Absolutely.
But don't invite us.
Yeah.
All right. Bye.